If a woman is cheating, it's bad enough, but if it's with someone you know, your friend, your coworker, or even your own brother, it's a whole different kind of betrayal. The truth, she'll drop hints, subtle phrases, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. But today, I'll break down 6 things she might say that should set off every alarm in your soul. Let's begin. She's just like a sister to me. When a woman says this, especially about a man you both know, you need to pause and pay close attention. That phrase is more than just a casual statement. It's a smokescreen. It's designed to lower your defenses, to make you feel like there's absolutely nothing to worry about. It plays on the social narrative that some relationships are so platonic, so innocent, that even questioning them would make you look insecure or possessive. But here's the uncomfortable truth most men learn the hard way. Affairs, emotional or physical, rarely begin with strangers. They usually start with familiarity, someone she already knows, trusts, and has built a connection with over time, and often that person is someone you know too. By calling him just like a brother, she's not only trying to neutralize your suspicion, she's giving herself a convenient alibi. Think about it. If he's like a brother, then any time spent with him is framed as harmless. Any inside jokes, long conversations, shared secrets, or emotional closeness can all be dismissed as part of their sibling-like bond. She'll even act offended that you're questioning something so innocent. But ask yourself, when did this dynamic start? Has she always referred to him that way? Or did that label only appear after you started noticing their increased communication? Was it retroactively applied to hide the truth? It gets worse when this brother figure is someone from your inner circle, your best friend, coworker, gym buddy, or even a cousin. You trust him, you'd never suspect him, and she knows that. The most dangerous affairs are the ones that hide in plain sight, because you'd never think to look there. That's why the betrayal cuts deeper. It's not just her you can't trust anymore. It's someone you once saw as a brother too. Watch the body language. When she mentions him, does she smile just a little too much? Does she bring his name up often in conversations where it doesn't belong? When you're out together, does she light up when he walked into the room, maybe more than she does for you? Does she defend him quickly, even when no one is attacking him? These subtle shifts, these patterns, matter more than the words she's using, because if she's overly eager to put him in the family zone, it's likely because something more is going on behind the scenes. And here's where most men get it wrong. They ignore their intuition. They feel the shift but suppress it because they don't want to seem jealous or controlling. But healthy masculinity isn't about pretending nothing bothers you. It's about recognizing when something isn't right and being strong enough to face it. If something in your gut clenches every time she brings up his name, if something feels off when they're around each other, don't ignore it. That instinct is primal. It's there to protect you. Don't let a rehearsed phrase like "he's just like a brother to me" blind you to the possibility that she's crossing lines you don't even see yet. In many cases, women use language as camouflage. They know how to manage perception. They know that if they frame something a certain way early on, they can shape how you respond to it later. "He's like a brother" becomes the protective coating over behavior that would otherwise be a red flag. Frequent late night texting, long phone calls, private meetups, but now it's all okay because it's just her brother. That's how the emotional groundwork is laid for betrayal under the guise of something pure. So don't dismiss that phrase. Don't let it lull you into a false sense of security. Pay attention not just to what she says, but how often she says it, and how she acts when he's around. Because when a woman says he's just like a brother, She might be trying to hide the fact that she's developing a connection that threatens your relationship, and possibly with someone you already trust. You're being paranoid. This statement isn't just a casual dismissal. It's a deliberate psychological move, a redirection meant to make you question your own sanity instead of her behavior. When a woman utters this phrase, especially in response to a calm, honest question about her relationship with someone you both know, what she's really doing is flipping the script. She's not giving you clarity. She's not easing your concern. She's attacking the foundation of your intuition. Let's break it down. First, ask yourself why that phrase even enters the conversation. If your concerns were truly baseless, why wouldn't she take the time to reassure you? Why wouldn't she be willing to open her phone, explain the situation, or show you that there's nothing to hide? When someone's got nothing to conceal, they welcome transparency. They don't react with aggression. But when someone feels cornered, when they know you're close to discovering something, they default to defense, and not just defense. They go on offense. That's what this phrase does. It's a form of gaslighting. Instead of addressing your concern, she turns the spotlight back on you. Now asterisk you're asterisk the problem. Now asterisk you're asterisk insecure. Now the conversation isn't about her texting a man late at night. It's about your jealousy. This tactic works incredibly well on men who pride themselves on being rational and level-headed. You start thinking, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. And that hesitation is exactly what she needs, because the moment you begin to doubt yourself, she gains control of the narrative. It gives her time to continue hiding, time to deepen whatever relationship she may be forming behind your back, time to make sure she stays 2 steps ahead of your suspicions. Let's not forget the context here. She's possibly cheating with someone you asterisk, no asterisk. That means this isn't just a betrayal of love. It's a betrayal of trust on every level. She knows that if the truth came out, it would shatter not only your relationship with her, but also your trust in a friend, a relative, or someone close to you. That's why she has to protect the lie so aggressively, and the easiest way to do that is by making you question your own thoughts. You'll stop asking questions, you'll stop looking for clues, and most dangerously, you'll start apologizing for even bringing it up in the first place. What's more insidious is how this phrase is often delivered. It rarely comes with calm or kindness. It comes with irritation, maybe even anger. She acts offended, hurt, even disgusted that you would dare question her. But that's not how innocent people behave. Innocent people don't need to weaponize emotion. They don't need to flip out when asked a simple question like, "Why do you talk to him so much?" Or "Have you seen him recently without telling me?" If you get yelled at or dismissed instead of answered, understand that's not love talking. That's fear. That's panic. This is also where many men fall into a dangerous cycle. They bring up a concern. She calls them paranoid. They back off. Then, days or weeks later, they notice another red flag. Maybe she's laughing a little too hard at his jokes. Maybe she leaves the room to take a call when he's the one calling. But now, instead of addressing it, the man hesitates. He remembers how she reacted last time. He doesn't want to cause another argument, and just like that, she's conditioned him. He's no longer free to express what he feels. He's been silenced, subtly but effectively, and here's something else to think about. When someone is cheating with someone you know, secrecy is everything. They can't risk suspicion. They can't have you watching their every move, so they'll use emotional manipulation to keep you quiet. They'll act like your concerns are irrational, even when your instincts are dead on, and they'll do it with phrases like "you're being paranoid," because it sounds logical on the surface, but underneath it's a weapon, a tool of emotional control, a way to get you to drop your guard just long enough for them to keep doing what they're doing without being questioned. That phrase can break your confidence. It can make you feel weak, needy, or overly sensitive, especially if you're a man who's been taught to never show doubt or vulnerability. But here's the reality. Doubting your partner doesn't make you weak. It means you're paying attention. It means you're brave enough to acknowledge that something doesn't feel right. And if a reaction to your honest concern is to label you as paranoid instead of proving her innocence, it should raise more questions, not less. Every time she says it, ask yourself, why does she need to discredit me instead of just being honest? Why is she more upset about being questioned than about how I feel? And why does she react so strongly only when I bring up one specific person? Because if she's cheating with someone you know, she has to shut down the investigation fast, and calling you paranoid is the quickest way to do it. He's going through a lot right now. I'm just trying to be there for him. At first glance, this sounds compassionate, even noble. It paints her as a supportive friend, someone who's simply offering emotional aid to a person in need. And because men are often raised to admire empathy and loyalty, especially in a partner, it's easy to accept this explanation without questioning it. After all, no decent man wants to stand in the way of someone helping a friend during a hard time. But this is exactly why this phrase is so deceptive. Because behind the veil of kindness and concern, something much more intimate, and possibly inappropriate, could be developing. When she starts saying this about a specific man you both know, it's crucial to consider the context and how often his name has started showing up in your conversations. Is she texting him more? Is she meeting up with him to check on him? Has she started acting more distant from you while simultaneously becoming more emotionally invested in his life? Emotional affairs often start under the guise of support. It gives her a socially acceptable reason to stay connected to him, to give him her time, energy, and attention, all while telling you that it's harmless. But emotional affairs are rarely harmless. In many cases, they're even more dangerous than physical ones because they grow slowly, subtly, and deeply. She starts becoming his confidante. She learns his struggles, his fears, his vulnerabilities. She becomes the one he turns to, the one who understands him, the one who makes him feel seen. And here's where it turns dark. The emotional energy she used to invest in you is now being redirected. Suddenly, she's texting him good morning instead of you. She's talking to him about her problems instead of coming to you. She's excited to see his name pop up on her phone. And all of this happens while you're being told, I'm just trying to help him. Now ask yourself, does he really need that much help? Is it truly your woman's job to be his emotional support system day in and day out? Or is this a form of emotional intimacy that's crossing lines behind your back? Because if she's prioritizing his needs over yours, if she's emotionally available to him while growing emotionally distant from you, then she's already stepping out of the relationship. And the worst part is, you're being made to feel like the bad guy if you bring it up. If you question her motives, she'll act offended. I can't believe you don't trust me. I'm just trying to be a good person. And you start feeling like you're the one with the problem, but you're not. You're seeing something real. You're seeing how her attention is shifting, how she's growing more defensive when you ask simple questions, how she talks about him with more emotion than she talks about you, how she lights up when he texts but seems distracted when she's with you. And that's not your imagination. That's your intuition alerting you to an emotional disconnect that's becoming harder to ignore. She might even say things like, "You should talk to him. He really looks up to you." Or "He's going through something you wouldn't understand." These statements aren't about bringing you closer to the situation. They're about keeping you on the outside. They're meant to make you feel like a stranger to a story that you should be at the center of. And often the man she's helping is someone close to you. A friend, a colleague, maybe even a family member, that makes it even harder to call out, because now you're not just questioning her loyalty, you're risking your relationship with the other man too. This is where things become layered. She can justify anything by cloaking it in empathy. Late night phone calls, he needed someone to talk to. Secret meet-ups, he didn't want to be alone. Texting back and forth all day, he's really struggling. But look closely. Is she showing that same level of care and concern for you? Is she that emotionally available to your needs, your struggles, your goals, or has all of her emotional bandwidth been rerouted toward helping him? Here's the uncomfortable truth most men don't want to face. When a woman becomes emotionally entangled with another man under the pretense of support, she's not just being there for him. She's building something with him. Whether she admits it or not, she's bonding, she's investing, she's sharing pieces of herself that used to be reserved for you. And if she's cheating with someone you know, this emotional connection is how it begins. It doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in conversations, in inside jokes, in secrets they share that you're not a part of. It starts with sympathy, but it ends in betrayal. So when she says, "He's going through a lot right now, I'm just trying to be there for him," don't take it at face value. Look deeper. Ask yourself, is this about helping someone? Or is this about fulfilling a need she's no longer getting from me? Is this support? Or is it something else disguised as compassion? Because if she's channeling her energy, time, and affection into another man while pulling away from you, then what you're witnessing is not kindness. It's the early stage of an emotional affair, one that could already be happening right under your nose with someone you trusted. Why don't you trust me? This question sounds innocent, even reasonable, but in the context of infidelity, especially with someone you both know, it's a loaded weapon. It's not just a question, it's a subtle accusation. It flips the entire situation on its head and suddenly places you, the one with legitimate suspicions, on the defensive. It forces you to explain yourself, to justify your doubts, to prove that your gut feelings are somehow unfair or uncalled for. And that's exactly what someone who is hiding something wants, to make you feel like the problem. When a woman says this to you, it's not always coming from a place of confusion or hurt. More often than not, it's a deflection. It's a way to shift the focus off her actions and onto your reaction. Because if she's doing something she shouldn't be, if she's secretly involved with someone you both know, then her biggest fear isn't just being found out. It's losing the ability to control the narrative. She needs to keep you off balance, uncertain, hesitant to press forward. And the easiest way to do that is to question your trust in her. Let's examine this closely. Why would someone who has nothing to hide ask that question in such a defensive, emotionally charged way? If you were truly off base, wouldn't she calmly reassure you? Wouldn't she offer you openness, honesty, and transparency? Wouldn't she understand why you might feel a little uneasy if you saw her being overly familiar with another man, especially one in your circle? But when she responds not with clarity, but with accusation, "Why don't you trust me?" she's not trying to comfort you. She's trying to make you feel guilty, because guilt is a powerful tool. If you start to feel guilty for asking questions, you'll stop asking them. You'll bite your tongue when you notice strange behavior. You'll hesitate to bring up your concerns when something doesn't sit right. You'll internalize that doubt, suppress your instincts, and try to convince yourself that the issue is within you, not her. And that's when she gains the upper hand. That's when she can continue her secret connection unchecked, because you've been emotionally disarmed. Also, consider the emotional tone when this question is asked. Is she sad? Is she angry? Is she exasperated? Often, it's not calm or constructive. It's sharp. It's laced with judgment. And that's important, because people who are truly betrayed by a lack of trust usually seek to restore it. They want to fix it, but people who are using trust as a shield for deceit will weaponize it. They'll act as if your suspicion is the real betrayal, not their behavior. It's an emotional sleight of hand. She reframes your concern as an attack on her character. So now, your asterisk, the one who feels like you crossed a line. This tactic is especially dangerous when the other man is someone close to you, because now there's more than just romantic betrayal at play. There's betrayal of friendship, of loyalty, of community. It's not just her actions under scrutiny, it's someone else's too, and that makes the situation more complicated. You're less likely to confront it head on. You don't want to damage a friendship or stir up drama unless you're absolutely certain, and she knows that. So when she says, "Why don't you trust me?" she's really saying, don't look too closely. Don't ask too many questions. Don't make me uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Trust is not unconditional. It's earned. It's reinforced through consistent, respectful behavior. And when that behavior starts to shift, when she becomes emotionally distant, when she hides her phone, when she seems more invested in another man's life than your relationship, your trust naturally begins to erode. That's not on you. That's a consequence of her actions. And if she cared about the relationship, she'd recognize that and work to rebuild the bridge. But when she asks, "Why don't you trust me?" and offers no real answer or accountability, she's not trying to fix the crack. She's trying to cover it up. It's also worth noting how frequently and in what situations she brings up this question. Does she only ask it when you mention a specific person? Does her tone change when his name comes up? Does she seem overly defensive even when you're being calm and rational? These are signals. They show you where the pressure points are, where the truth might be hiding. Because if she were truly innocent, she wouldn't need to dodge. She wouldn't need to flip the emotional burden back onto you. She'd welcome clarity, not resent it. In a healthy relationship, questions about trust lead to honest conversations, not guilt trips. But when someone's hiding something, when there's a secret connection, an emotional entanglement, or even a physical relationship brewing with someone close to you, those questions are threats. They threaten the lie, they threaten the secret, they threaten the fantasy that everything's okay when it's not. And so, she'll defend that illusion with whatever tools she can, including emotional manipulation disguised as hurt feelings. And so, when she asks, "Why don't you trust me?" you have to step back and consider the deeper implications. Because often, the people who insist the loudest that they should be trusted are the very ones giving you the least reason to do so. They rely on your hesitation. They rely on your desire to keep the peace. They rely on your fear of confrontation, and that question, so simple, so disarming, becomes the perfect cover, a shield behind which deception can flourish in silence. You're overthinking it. At first, this might sound like a comforting response, a way for her to reassure you, to pull you back from the edge of worry. But when it's said too quickly, too often, or in the wrong context, it becomes something much more dangerous. It's not reassurance, it's dismissal. It's a way to invalidate what you're feeling and make you second-guess your instincts. And when a woman is cheating, especially with someone close to you, This phrase becomes a subtle form of control. It's designed to quiet your suspicions without having to address the truth. When you express concern, when you start noticing things that don't add up, like late night texts, secretive behavior, or a growing emotional distance, and she responds with, "You're overthinking it. What she's really saying is, I don't want to explain what's actually happening, so I'm going to make you doubt yourself instead." It's a redirection tactic. Instead of giving you transparency, she gives you confusion, and confusion is the perfect smokescreen. Dishonesty, let's break it down further. If you mention how often she's talking to a certain guy, especially someone you both know, she brushes it off. If you point out how her energy has shifted, how she's less engaged with you but lights up when his name comes up, she says you're reading too much into things. If you notice subtle signs, like the way she positions her phone so you can't see the screen, or how she suddenly has new inside jokes with him, she makes you feel like you're being too sensitive. And if you persist, she'll label you as insecure. But here's the trap. Once she's planted that idea in your head that you're just overthinking everything, you begin to internalize it. You start to hold back. You hesitate to speak up. You gaslight yourself before she even has to. You rationalize her behavior for her. You tell yourself, maybe I am just being dramatic. Or maybe it's not that deep. And that's when she gains full control over the narrative. She no longer has to defend her actions, because you've already been convinced that your instincts are flawed. Now, understand this. Being analytical or observant is not the same as overthinking. If your gut is alerting you, it's not random. It's rooted in real patterns, and especially in relationships. Gut feelings are often your mind's way of processing subtle cues you haven't consciously figured out yet. The problem isn't your thinking. It's what her behavior is forcing you to think about in the first place. And when she dismisses those thoughts as overthinking, she's not helping you feel safe. She's just buying more time to continue doing what she's doing. Also, think about how selective this phrase is. She doesn't tell you that you're overthinking when you're worried about work, or when you're stressing about money, or when you're dealing with problems outside the relationship. No, it's only when your thoughts start drifting toward her and that other guy. It's only when your mental spotlight lands on her interactions, her excuses, her distance. That's not coincidence, that's precision. She knows exactly when you're getting too close to the truth, and that's when she throws this phrase at you to derail your focus. And if the man she might be cheating with is someone you know, someone you trust, someone who's been in your circle, that phrase becomes even more manipulative, because now you're not just doubting her, you're doubting a friendship, a connection, a brotherhood. And you start to think, there's no way they'd do this to me. I must be overthinking, but that's the exact blind spot cheaters exploit. Your unwillingness to believe that betrayal could come from people so close to you. She might even laugh it off, try to make it light-hearted. You and your wild imagination. She'll say with a smile, making you feel foolish for even bringing it up. But that laugh, that smile, that's not innocence, that's performance. That's her playing the role of the misunderstood girlfriend who just can't believe you'd accuse her of such a thing. But behind that performance, the truth is far more calculated. She's using your trust, your hesitation, and your need to feel like a rational man against you. She's turning your clarity into confusion, and you'll notice a pattern. Every time you try to peel back the layers, every time you bring up something that doesn't sit right with you, she dismisses it. She gives you the same tired line, you're overthinking it, not because she believes you are, but because she needs you to believe it. She needs you to stop pulling at the thread, because if you keep pulling, everything unravels. Her excuses, her lies, her connection to that other man, and she can't let that happen. So this phrase, as innocent as it sounds, is one of the most effective tools of manipulation in the hands of someone who's cheating. It shuts down the conversation before it can even start. It paints your rational suspicion as irrational noise. It makes you distrust yourself, and once you stop trusting yourself, you become blind to what's right in front of you. You stop asking questions. You stop noticing patterns. You stop defending your own sense of reality. And in that silence, she's free to continue what she's doing with little to no resistance. You're not overthinking. You're observing. You're connecting dots. You're feeling what any man would feel when something sacred starts to shift, and when a woman repeatedly tells you that you're just overthinking it. It's not because your mind is running wild. It's because your thoughts are getting too close to a truth she doesn't want you to see. She's suddenly very protective of her phone. This shift might appear subtle at first, almost unnoticeable. A small movement here, a change in habit there. Maybe she used to leave her phone face up on the table, or casually hand it to you to check a text or take a photo. But now it's face down, always within arm's reach, and never left unattended. She clutches it like a lifeline. She takes it with her into the bathroom. She tenses up if you get too close to it. These small behavioral changes are often dismissed as personal privacy, but in the context of potential infidelity, especially with someone you both know, they're signs of something deeper, something hidden. The truth is, a phone is a window into someone's life. It's where secrets live, messages, call logs, social media interactions, even deleted content. And when someone suddenly becomes unusually protective over that device, it's rarely about boundaries. It's about concealment. It's about keeping you from seeing a part of her life that contradicts the version she presents to you. When a woman is cheating, especially with someone you know, a mutual friend, co-worker, or acquaintance, her phone becomes the vault where that double life is stored, and her behavior around it transforms completely. You might notice she starts keeping her notifications hidden. Where before, you could see texts pop up on the lock screen. Now it's just message from Instagram or WhatsApp notification. No names, no previews. She'll say it's for privacy or that it distracts her. But what it really does is give her plausible deniability. If you happen to glance over, you won't know who she's talking to. You won't see the late night messages or the flirty emojis. You won't see the breadcrumb trail leading to the other man. Then there's the password. She may suddenly change it. If you once had access, that access is revoked. If she never had a password, now she does. And if you ask about it, she gets defensive. Not just mildly irritated, asterisk defensive. Asterisk like she's offended you'd even ask. That kind of emotional overreaction isn't about the principle of privacy. It's about the fear of being exposed. It's about the panic that you might see a message thread with someone she shouldn't be talking to in that way. Someone you trust. Someone you let into your home. The timing of these changes matters too. If they coincide with other suspicious behaviors, like increased emotional distance, unexplained absences, or a sudden shift in how she talks about a certain guy in your social circle, that's not coincidence. That's a pattern, and patterns don't lie. A woman who's cheating with someone you know has to be strategic. She can't leave a trail. She can't afford to get sloppy, so she tightens control over the one thing that could expose her, her phone. Another red flag is how she reacts when you bring up the topic. If you calmly express that you've noticed she's been more guarded with her phone lately, does she respond with understanding? Or does she spin it around and accuse you of not trusting her? Does she talk about her right to privacy without acknowledging the sudden shift in behavior? Does she paint you as insecure, as controlling, as paranoid? These reactions aren't about boundaries. They're about guilt. She knows you're close to discovering something she's trying to hide, and she's trying to throw you off the scent. Also watch for moments when she becomes extra attentive to her phone while you're around. She might glance at it repeatedly during conversations, She may excuse herself to another room to reply to a message. She might laugh at something she won't show you. These micro moments, stacked on top of each other, paint a very clear picture. They tell you where her attention really is. And if that attention consistently leads back to a man you both know, then you're not just imagining things, you're seeing the signs for what they are. There's also the emotional disconnection that often comes with this behavior. She's glued to her screen, but disengaged from you. She's distracted during dinner, preoccupied during conversations, and distant. Even when you're right next to her, that phone is a bridge to another life, one she's building in parallel to yours, one that includes someone else, someone you might consider a friend, someone you never imagined could become part of this betrayal. In some cases, you might even notice her becoming overly critical of you, picking fights, creating distance, because guilt has to go somewhere, and instead of owning it, she channels it into frustration. Her protectiveness over her phone isn't just about hiding messages. It's about guarding the entire facade. And if she can paint you as the unreasonable one, the jealous one, the clingy one, then she doesn't have to confront her own choices. She can live behind that screen, behind those passwords, behind that new version of herself, while keeping you in the dark. And so, when you see her suddenly change her behavior around her phone, don't ignore it. Don't chalk it up to coincidence or evolving habits. Context matters, and when the context includes subtle shifts in her emotional availability, odd closeness with someone you both know, and a growing sense of secrecy, you have every reason to pay attention. A guarded phone in a committed relationship is rarely just about privacy. It's about protection, not of herself, but of the lie. And that lie often leaves one notification away from being discovered. So if your gut is sounding the alarm and your eyes are seeing what your heart doesn't want to accept, don't silence those instincts. A woman who starts guarding her phone like a treasure chest, especially while growing strangely close to someone within your circle, is not just evolving, she's hiding. And no matter how subtle the signs may seem, deception always leaves a trail. It starts in the silence, grows in secrecy, and reveals itself in patterns that don't lie. Don't let love blind you to the truth. Protect your peace. Trust your intuition. And remember, if something feels off, it usually is.